Hello, my name is Ljubomir Jovanovic. I'm from University of Belgrade, and in front of our team I will present a lecture about sheep and goat reproductive physiology. First, we will talk about breeding season. Most those expose seasonal reproductive activity, meaning they get pregnant only in the late summer or entire autumn, or late winter or early spring kidding. During the season of the highest reproductive activity of ewes and goats, autumn to winter, up to 20 ester cycles may occur. However, some breeds of ewes and goats may be able to breed year-round or out of season. It is not breed-related only, but the latitude. The extent of the breeding season diminishes with increase of latitude. Thus, at the equator, ewes and does may breed at any time of the year, whereas in the regions of light high altitude, in both northern and southern hemisphere, the breeding season is restricted and distinct, with a prolonged phase of estrus after parturition. Puberty or sexual maturity. Puberty is reached when the female exhibits his first estrus and ovulation. In sheep, the age of puberty of eve lambs varies greatly, and it is influenced by the breed, nutrition, persistence of the ram, the season of the breed. Well-developed eve lamb wield a body condition score of 3 to 3.5 in a scale of 1 to 5, particularly of the mid breeds can be bred at 7 to 8 months of the age and approximately 70% of the mature body weight. Two exceptions exist. Lamb born in the fall to the spring breeding will reach puberty in the spring and will be less fertile and induced less estrus. And some breeds of sheep are slow maturing, like autochthonous breeds of sheep, and may not be fertile at the 7 to 8 months of the age. Goats, the onset of the puberty is typically occurs in the 6 to 8 months of the age, but varies depending the season of the bird, breed, nutritional status, and presence of the male. For example, pygmy goats and those of larger breeds may reach puberty as early as 3 years months old. However, breeding should be delayed until the animal has reached at least 60% of the mature body weight to allow for a higher conception rates and safer parturition. Large and growth breeds, example Nubian and Saanen goat, can be safely bred at 32 kilos. Angora kids should be weighed at a minimum of 27 kilos and are frequently not bred until they are 1 to 1.5 in a year and 2 and 2.5 in a year old. Puberty is well-grown bucks can be seen as early as 4 months of age. Breeding age. Most breeders wonder how old Eve or doe needs to be to breed a mate in the first time. However, experience indicates that body weight is a more important factor than age. Although some breeders think an Eve or doe under a year of age may not be a good mother, that varies on the individual basis and mentioned before. Eve and goat that are too small will not be able to give a safe birth. It is generally recommended that a female at least 16 to 70% of their adult weight before being breed. Some females reach that body size and anytime they are 7 months old, although it can take up to 18 months for others. On the rare occasion that female does not reach that body size at the age of 2, she should probably not be bred. The estrus cycle in eves. First estrus is generally occurs when females are at least 6 months of the age and weight of 2/3 of their adult body weight. True, few breeds are known for coming into estrus as early as 4 to 5 months of the age. Length of the estrus cycles is range from 14 to 18 to 19 days between cycles, with 70 days breeding in average. If all eaves have been exposed to the ram for 3 to 4 days, they theoretically should have two estrus in which they can be bred. Length of the time of the standing in a heat is 30 hours in average, but it can range anywhere from 3 to 73 hours. Time of ovulation is 24 hours after the start of the estrus cycle. Length of the time the egg remains capable for being fertilized is 12 to 24 hours. The estrus signs in eaves. The detection of estrus in eaves is difficult in the absence of the ram. Sometimes eaves wag their tails vigorously. Young eaves rarely exhibit this behavior. The ram effect. The sudden introduction of novel rams or teiches, meaning ram effect, to unestrus eaves can induce the onset of ovarian cyclicity during the transition season, most often 4 to 6 weeks before the onset of the ovulatory season in seasonal breeds. However, it is less effective in synchronizing estrus once eaves have started to cycle. Responding eaves commonly ovulated within 48 hours of ram introduction, but usually are not receptive. For example, the estrus is silent. In eaves that with assigned estrus, ovulation is followed by formation of either a normal or short-lived 5 to 6 days corpus luteum. After regression of normal corpus luteum, most eaves display estrus around 19 days after ram introduction. After regression of the short-lived corpus luteus, eaves ovulated without displaying signs of estrus and commonly form a normal corpus luteum. Regression of this corpus luteum results in estrus around 25 days after ram introduction. This gives 2 peaks of breeding activity and very good synchronization of estrus without the use of exogenous hormones. Rams should have been separated, but at least 500 meters, preferably 1 to 2 kilometers, for 4 to 6 weeks before being introduced into the eave mode. Optimal mating time. If we detect estrus in a sheep in the morning, we will mate and bird it in the evening. Also, if we notice signs of estrus in the evening, we will mate or breed it in the morning. You can see it in a picture of this slide. The estrus cycle in a dose. The average duration of the goat's estrus cycle is 21 days, but it can vary with the different breeds or environment. A relatively high frequency of short cycle is characteristic of goats and tend to occur in young does. At the onset of the breeding season, with the prostaglandin induction of ovulation. Longer cycles may be seen later in the season. The average duration of standing estrus is 36 hours, but it can range from 24 to 48 hours, depending on age, breed, season, and presence of the male. Estrus detection in the does is easier than in the eaves, and based on the behavioral signs, bleeding, flagging of the tails, redundant vulva, vaginal discharge, which causes by the tail hairs to stroke together, and occasional reading by other does, although the last sign is far less common than in cattle. Ovulation can occur anytime at 9 to 72 hours after the onset of the estrus, typically towards the end of the standing estrus. The ovulation rate varied based on the breed, season, and nutrition. The sign of the estrus in the dose. As mentioned before, the ester-cyanide dose is much easier to detect than in Eve's. It contains of flagging. The dose will be wagging her tail a lot, mounting, though in heat may mount other does unless they mount her, vocalizating. Some does won't vocalize it at all, but other will be screaming so much that anyone within a quarter of the mile will know that she's a kid. Fleeting, a doe will hang out next to the fence where she sees a buck. Even if there are two fences between them, she will get as close as possible. Discharge. A clear or white discharge might be visible on the top of the vulva. The color of discharge is a clue, but about what stage of heat it may be different. If it is clear, she's unusual. She's usually in the early stages of estrus. But if it is white, it is near the end. Drop in the milk production is another sign, and this is temporary and will last 1 or 2 milking. It may be minor or substantial drop in the milk. Ester synchronization in sheep and goats. Nowadays, sheep and goat synchronization is routinely performed during and out of the breeding season, an important factor for successful synchronization in overall health status. Regular sheep shearing, maintenance of the hooves, deworming, vaccination, and vitamin supplementation of the herd is substantial. There are different methods for estrus introduction and synchronization methods. For example, photoperiodic synchronization, the ram and book effect, which is mentioned before, intravaginal sponges, pacers, gonadotropins, melatonin treatment, intravaginal progesterone devices, and progesterone F-alpha. All these methods are well known and used by veterinarians, and veterinarians should advise the breeders which of these methods should be the most important and most valuable method for them. Thank you very much for listening.